Hello and welcome to Smash of the Day. Apologies for no episode last week. Unfortunately, one of the goblins I employ to edit tape exposed a raw warpstone to a piece of footage, and it caused a chemical reaction that blew up my entire studio. So I'm now filming from a shed, but we're back, and I've got Matt Goodall with me, coach of Jurassic Junglers. Say hello, Matt.
Hello, Matt.
Okay. Let's get straight on it then.
I thought I'd go for a similar theme.
Well, yeah. It's tradition at this point. Let's have a look at these Division 1 results then. So, Gallons of Grog, Brexiting Spines. Greg's really not having a great time with his orcs, is he?
No, not at all. Unfortunately, they seem to be getting a bit smashed about the place.
Yeah, he won the SPP game though, which is not bad at all. Let's have a look at those dice rolls. We did very well on his armor breaks. Not so good on the casualties. Brexiting Spines. Yeah. To be honest with you, it looks like he deserved the win, frankly.
Yeah. I mean, really stupid on the orcs did quite well, actually. 87% is pretty reasonable, I'd say.
Yeah.
In terms of
7 for on chainsaw as well. That's nice.
Very nice. Yeah, it's one of these things where we seem to have chainsaws on both again.
Yeah.
Still slightly confused on that.
We're trying to figure that out. We don't know what it means. Is it just me, or did Dave's star player die? Yeah. Dave's guy who got star player died. Not star player, sorry, MVP. Divin Camerson, yeah, that sucks. He would have leveled up.
Yeah, and he also got a casualty that match as well. So 7 SPP down the drain.
Damn. Wow, yeah, Jesus. Well, 1-1 draw. 2 bashy teams, not that surprising really. Let's take a look at this one. Sean's Hawks and Jurassic Junglers. Well, I'm assuming you can remember this.
I can definitely remember this game. Quite fondly, actually. It was a pretty reasonable game. I've managed to pick up quite a bit of block on my Saurus now, so I managed to essentially knock down quite a lot of those elves, and I even inflicted a couple of deaths. So they were definitely out for blood after losing the game the week before. But it's been quite a few weeks full of rocks being thrown. First turn of the game cost Sean his his apothecary. He had a player die straight away. I also had... It was a 2-hit rock. I got hit as well. So
it's worth noting, actually, that we've had 13 deaths across 12 games this week, which is mad, really. I see you've got an 80% success rate on Fireball. You don't see that statistic very often.
Oh, yeah. There's... So, yeah, it's not too bad, really. Like, I had TV advantage thing, so didn't take too much damage from that.
Look at this, another MVP dead.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Definitely. That's, once again... but unfortunately, it's an MVP gone, but it's only an unleveled lineman, so...
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Wow, Sean didn't get much out of that, did he? 3-1 and 2. Jesus. Well,
got a few deaths. That's all I can say.
Bad week for people. Well, let's have a look at Vanilla Killer Kitsch and the Morning Munchers. So,
now, I didn't...
win for the Gobbos.
Yeah, didn't see much of this stunty off. 1-0. I mean, two two deaths either side is quite. So this was quite the brutal match, in fact.
Yeah, it's always
Um,
nice when you're playing stunties and you get a 100% going for it though. 13 successes on go for it for Vanilla
that,
Killer Kitsch.
that's pretty lucky, really.
Yep.
Uh, the ogres didn't even make one. Oh, they made 17 out of their 20 GFIs as well.
Yep. But they got a 25% on catches,
Yeah,
which is probably why they lost. I imagine.
and not being able to get some of your players back after KO.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
failing all your injury rolls,
but
and choosing to play as ogres.
I mean, that being said, the Gobos failed 6 out of 7 of their wake up after KOs, so that's quite the number of removals for most of the game.
Looks like it was just a brawl by the looks of things then. Right, well, slimy helmets and Le French taunters. God damn, this has been a horrible season for the Nurgle so far.
It has indeed.
He lost his beast in this game, I believe.
Yeah, that did happen. And another, it's like 3 deaths in this game as well. It's crazy amount deaths on players here.
Yeah, not really much to say looking at the stats. One succeeded and one failed regen. I'm guessing the failed one was his beast.
I can only assume so.
Yeah, pretty nasty, pretty nasty. And he started strong as well, so that's a shame, really. But as we'll see in a minute when we look at the league table, it really is still anyone's league.
Oh, definitely.
Let's take a look at these teams, and we'll start off with you.
Why not? So yeah, developed a few more players now.
Mighty Blow Blocksaurus. That's absolute AIDS.
It's brilliant. I'm very happy. And yeah, level up on my Agifor Skink now. So managed to pick up Sure Feet on him.
Yep.
I felt I had to drop one of my skinks because he was getting a bit too developed without kind of much bonus. I'm trying to keep my TV down at the minute.
Yeah, good shout. You don't really need more than 12, I don't think.
No, exactly. So Dodger has been replaced with Dodger 2. So pretty much all that can be said for my team, really.
Yeah.
Still looking for those last few Saurus level ups, but
yeah, that's the one thing that you're missing in it, really. You just want to get block on the rest of those Saurus.
Exactly.
And then you're laughing.
2 more casualty. Well, 1 more casualty on each of them, and we're there. So should be fine, really.
Well, let's compare that to the Munchers, who have still only... Wow, look at that. Look at that team photo.
Yeah, that roster is quite short now, I'd say.
Yeah.
Down to 10 players. I think they... Not 100% sure, but I think they were... What would it be? 12 players?
I think so, yeah.
Losing out there. A couple of ogres.
That's brilliant.
It's got to be a doubles roll, right?
Yep.
So,
I mean, it's not looking bad, to be fair. He's got 1 ogre with Stand Firm and Guard. He's got block on another ogre, so again, he's rolled a double there. That's nice. Quite nice.
And then, once again, 2 more ogres, a casualty away from getting their first level ups.
And it doesn't matter that he's only got 10 players, because who cares if one of your nobblers has got Loner? It doesn't matter, really. Half of the rest of his players have got Loner.
I
Still
feel
no
I
Apothecary, though, Max. Come on.
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. 2 seasons in and still no app.
Exactly. For a guy who's lost about 700 ogres, you'd have expected him to get one by now. But no, apparently not. Well, let's take a look at these Bretts, who have kind of pretty much entirely regained their last season's form now, really. Look at that. A Blitzer with 4 strength. Fantastic. That's what you want to see. It's mad what these guys have access to as well. General Agi and passing.
It's very good choice of skills.
Yeah.
And a Blitzer with catch, block, and dauntless. Oh, that's what they start with. That's pretty good for the Brett Blitzers, really.
Yeah, that lineman with 6 Armour though wants getting rid of because he's just adding TV and he's not contributing anything really.
Yeah, I mean, he's got block, so I can see a little reason to keep him. But obviously, with only 30k in the bank, it's a hard decision to make, really.
Well,
Um,
he's got 12 players already. Well, yeah, maybe you could keep him around, just stick him on the bench or something. I don't know. I just feel like if someone with Mighty Blow walks up and you're injuring him on a 6, and yeah, it's just not worth having. Same armor as halflings. Yeah, I wouldn't keep him.
yeah, I mean, you can fend off some players, so you're only likely to hit him once in your turn. And
Yeah,
with block, it's a bit more challenging to do, but I can definitely see where you're coming from on that. And obviously, a blitzer now, he's got some quite developed blitzers. Obviously, the strength up, one with tackle and strip ball, and another blodger with sidestep. It's looking like quite a strong team, actually.
yeah, I'd say so. It's probably the most developed one we've looked at so far. Let's have a look at these Nurgle, see how they're faring. So he's lost the beast, but to be honest with you, I don't actually think that's a huge deal. He's still got a pretty strong team here, I think.
I mean, I'm assuming it's the thing with Nurgle that eventually you kind of want to get rid of that beast anyway when you've got some development going.
Maybe.
It's obviously not nice to have them get kind of killed off, but if you're just going to fire them eventually anyway, I don't think it's too bad. So I think he's in still a pretty good position on that.
Yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd even be tempted to get rid of a rotter, get his TV, or even possibly get rid of 2 rotters. So that, well, hang on, how many has he got here? He's got a 12-man squad. Yeah, you get rid of the rotter, and then next game have some pretty decent. Oh dear, can't you hear me, Matt? I can't do anything about that, unfortunately.
That's absolutely fine.
But
if it's recording your end, it doesn't make much of a difference.
I hope it is. Well, yeah, it's if you could get rid of one of those rotters, then he's gonna have a TV of 1,160, which is going to give him quite a lot of inducements. I think losing that beast might actually be the catalyst that gets him back up the table a bit.
Agreed, and obviously he's picking up more rotters as he keeps getting killed. So I think Gaston was that one of the Bretts.
Yeah.
So he's kind of grown his team still from picking up so many kills. Block on, what is it, 3 of the warriors, and claw on another. Definitely still a lot to play for. So
yeah, I think he's all right. I think he'll be doing all right here. Let's have a look at these gobbos. Okay. So 2 trolls, one with block, one with guard. That's nice. He's still got his dirty player there.
Indeed, and you've obviously one Kaz off level 3 for that troll.
He's keeping his TV low as well. Less than a million is good.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite underdeveloped in terms of players. I mean, you've only got 5 of them that are level 2 now. So obviously that's not going to inflate your TV too much. Obviously, have to always say, still missing that apothecary. But
yeah, but I mean, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even. I think he's made the right decision there, and the fact that he's because that would just add to his team value. And who gives a crap if your goblins die?
Yeah, but if you lose a troll, that could be.
Yeah, he is running a risk, but they're difficult to take down. Yeah, they're difficult to take down. Those trolls are, and you'd expect him to be protecting them really.
Very much.
Yeah, looking good. This is looking good. Well, for a goblin team anyway. Let's have a look at these hawks. Okay, down to 10 men, but we are quite developed still. Still got that blitzer with an AV down. I'm assuming he doesn't want to get rid of that strip ball.
It's hard to sacrifice players when you're losing so many in the first place. Obviously, all the loners make it a bit of a challenge, even though most of your rolls are 2-ups. But he's still got quite a lot of his more developed players.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got 5 guys with dodge, which makes it quite difficult to come at him.
the,
Mighty blow on a lineman. That must have been a double.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
not a
it's
bad
strong.
little squad here at all. This is a thing with this league. You don't really, no one's really looking that weak, to be honest with you.
Oh no,
Oh wow,
definitely.
Brexiting spines. Let's have a look at these guys. Wow. Okay, agility 2 on the beastman. He needs firing. Actually, to be
Yeah,
fair, if you're just going to use him to throw blocks, I don't suppose it matters, really, does it?
probably not.
And he has
He's
got block.
he's not looking to make too many dodges, I can't imagine. So,
Hmm.
um, and he
This,
obviously picked up that Minotaur a couple of games back. So,
yeah, I think he's just
um,
embracing the bloat at this point. But this is where you want your chaos team to be. You've got block on most of your guys. You've got a tackler there so that people can't dodge away from you. You've got the claw on one dude, so he'll be the guy who attacks the people with high armor. Like this is it's ready now. It's ready to be a full blown chaos team, and he's got the apothecary, so
yeah,
this is looking all right.
and he's got one player with tackle on there, so that's pretty good against. There's quite a lot of dodging this first, I'd say.
Yeah,
But
and he's got his dedicated ball carrier there with 4 agility, and he's a
yes,
four edgy blodger, so you're laughing
Stefan
really.
Barksley there,
Yeah,
highest SPP in any of the divisions, in fact. So,
yeah,
um,
best player in the world. Well, let's have a look at the Orcs. The Orcs 1,430 TV. Now, I was thinking just before this, he's bottom of the table at the moment,
yeah,
but this still, looking at it, is the best team in the division. Look at all that block on almost everyone.
I mean, there is a lot of block. He's got 3 players with Mighty Blow, including one that has piling on as well. Um, so you'd kind of expect him to be kind of taking some names, murdering some more players. So I have a feeling as the weeks go on, we're still going to see a lot of deaths across these divisions now.
Well,
Because while
actually,
some
let's take a look at the league table
okay,
quickly because I'm doing this on Goblin Spy, but you could look at it whatever you want. But we've got it's actually very close throughout the whole division here. So top 4 teams all on 6. Then we've got Brexiting Spines on 4, the Hawks and the Helmets on 3, and Greg at the bottom on 1. Now we're going to have a look at fixtures in a second, but I think that this is probably going to be the week where the Orcs start to get a comeback because they've got the Goblins, and
ooh,
they really ought to be ragging them around the field. But truth be told, this is still anyone's league, really.
oh definitely, 3 games in, yeah, and still make some serious changes to those final placings. Whilst everybody's going to be going through to the next stage, I'm sure it's almost as much picking up SPP and keeping your players alive than it is to necessarily get that final placing as well. So
Mm.
even being bottom of the table might not be such a bad thing.
What's interesting about this league to me actually is that there's only one team that's got a positive casualty ratio, and that's the Chaos, who've got 5 for 3. Everyone else has got a negative or an even one. Even the
So
Orcs.
I guess that's a lot of failed dodges, failed GFIs into casualties, really.
I don't know
Um,
actually. I don't know if it counts them.
I have a strong
It must do,
feeling
right?
that casualties are only included as the blocks are only the positive casualties, whereas the negatives would be anything from your dodges, your GFIs, and maybe even the surfs, I
Possibly.
guess.
Possibly. I don't know. Who
Oh, and
knows?
definitely those rocks. A lot of those rocks. That's got to be some of them.
Well, let's have a look at the schedule. So, gallons of grog, vanilla killer kitsch. I mean, like I said a second ago, I think that this is the week where the Orcs start turning it around, and I think that they'll absolutely demolish these goblins.
I really hope you're right. The chainsaws obviously has the potential to do a lot of work um, against the Orcs, but I hope for Greg's sake that he does come out on top of this one. But I know those Gobbos have been causing a lot of damage to any team that they've been playing against, so I'm I'm very hopeful Greg doesn't start losing even more players.
Yeah. So we're both going for Orc wins.
I've got to go for an Orc win.
Okay.
Maybe. Ooh, maybe 1-0. I think possibly.
I think we'll probably see big scores. I'm going to say 3-2.
Oh wow, that's quite high. That.
Yeah. Well, both these teams can pass. Both these teams can move. So, yeah. Well, we'll see anyway. Slimy Helmets, Sean's Hawks. This one's a tough one. The helmets are going to get quite a fair few quid in inducements, I believe. Oh no, maybe not.
I mean,
yeah.
Sean's got a. I think he had to buy. Was it 2 players?
He's going to have one loaner at a
Only
cost
one.
of 60k, so that'll take him up to 1340, which will mean that the Nurgle get 1,400. So,
Wow, so
and they could, to be fair, they could fire a rotter to take that up to 1.8.
yeah, I mean, he's got a niggle on hepatitis A, so maybe you stack that one off.
Maybe,
It's only
yeah.
on 3 SPP.
Either way, the helmets have got options here.
Oh, definitely. And with all that disturbing presence, you'd hope that you could kind of somewhat shut down that passing game from the elves.
Exactly. Yeah. This is if he can just get his head in the game, focus, and grind out a 1-0 win here, he can turn his fortunes around, I think. And there's no reason why he can't. And I think he probably will. I think Sean will struggle.
I think Sean's a very kind of experienced player. He makes a lot of good decisions. So unfortunately, I think I might end up going for Sean's elves here. Really.
I think that's the sensible decision, but I'm still going to back the helmets because I feel like it's like he's gonna make it too difficult for him with the passing game. So I think the helmets will win 1-0.
With the helmets able to actually scum 10k for a wizard, which I hadn't seen, then yeah, maybe I think you might be right on that, actually. I think I'm going to change my prediction and go probably just the 1-0 for the helmets.
Oh, okay.
Score on their own drive, disrupt Sean's, but probably not manage to see it off.
Do you know what I'd do if I was the helmets? I'd buy 2 bribes because you've already got more players than him, and just throw a foul every turn. That's what I would do.
Well, if that's his play, then I think you could see a lot more than just the 1-0. That could be 2, maybe even 3. But...
Yep. Okay, French Taunters, Brexit inspired. This one's an interesting one. Got a bit of fend on the team, so the Chaos who will want to follow up won't be able to. Having said that, the Chaos are now at a pretty nasty point. I don't think that claw I don't think the claw is going to make a great deal of difference, but this one's a tough one. What do you think?
I mean, there is a strength 4 player on Brett's, so he might be able to stand up a bit more to some of the Chaos Warriors. But you just can't write off that Beastman. 4-Agi can do a lot of things, dodge out of the way of anything that the kind of Bretts want to block him up with. So it is a tough call. I think I might have to give maybe just to the Bretts. I think maybe 2-1.
Yeah, I can see why he's saying that. And I think this one's a really tough one because the Chaos have got very high armour, and I think the Bretts will struggle to remove them from the field. If they can get some lucky armour breaks, they'll overwhelm them very quickly. If they can't, then that 4-Agi Beastman is gonna find it very easy to move up the field. I think the thing is, I'd say they're equally likely to win, but I don't think a draw is likely. I think one of them will win, but because I can't guess which, I'm going to call it a draw.
I think you're pretty spot on there. And I mean, with the strip ball, you could probably cause a lot of disruption onto a team of Chaos that probably just want to cage their way up the pit. So
yeah,
Yeah, I think 2-1 to the Brits.
Okay, ogres versus you. What do you think?
Well, I'm quite hopeful here. I'm hoping to get at least those last few level up on Masaurus now. So I've only got to find a casualty on uh, three of those very very squishy Noblars, and I mean we're golden really. I'd like to win. I'd rather get the SPP though. So
Yeah,
um,
and you can farm it. You could spend the whole game just farming SPP if you want to.
no, definitely. But I'm heavily inflated against his TV. He's gonna get. He's gonna end up on 1100 versus my 1450. So that's 350. You're talking extra ogres. So it could be quite terrifying. But
He could get the Master Chef.
I'd like to say that I can get that one. Because, should just be able to just run past him really. Five movement on all his players. And my skinks are 8. I'm hoping to just kind of run away with it really. So
You're incredibly laggy, Matt. Do
oh
you think you might
okay,
want to reconnect to the call?
give me 2 seconds. Hello.
Hello, that's much better. So yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd get the Master Chef, because it would screw you up. But I think you could just kill his Noblars early, and he doesn't have anyone to replace them with because he's not got a full squad. So that's what I'd do
Yeah,
if I was you. Just go for his Nobblers, and then his ogres, all 4 of them, which are unreliable and slow, can't really do much.
exactly. But I have a strong suspicion he's going to get extra ogres in there. I think you get star player ogres as well,
Yeah, that's a good
which I
point.
think he's been keen on picking up on some of the other games. But I guess we'll find out. But
Well, I also predict you, so we'll see how that goes.
I'm going to hope for 2-1 on this one, I think.
Let's take a look at 2A. So, gorgeous gits and food fighters. Now, the Wood Elves were playing without War Dancers this game. And you
That's
can
cool.
tell because if you look at the die rolls for the gorgeous gits, of which there are basically none, and then go and have a look at what the Wood Elves were having to do,
Oh
they
wow.
threw 45 dodges.
I
Yeah,
mean,
this was an incredible game. Was you watching this?
I missed this one, but I can
So
only assume there was a lot of basing going on by those orcs.
there was, but there was multiple opportunities for the Wood Elves to do some Wood Elf stuff, but he kind of bottled it a little bit at one point. There was one point where all he had to do was pick up the ball. I think he had to blitz one guy out of the way, pick up the ball, run down the field a bit, and pass it. And he did it in this bizarre, convoluted way that made it impossible. And yeah, just a couple of silly mistakes. I mean, it was still stacked against him. Don't get me wrong, but a couple of silly
Okay.
mistakes kind of cost him his chance of getting a point out of it or whatever, while he waited for his MNGs to come back. And
And if
unfortunately, the loner also got the MVP.
and if you look at the kind of block dice, those orcs threw as many defender stumbles as the Wood Elves threw blocks. So
Yeah,
um, you're going to expect to have a lot of removals there, really.
yep. No one really
Uh,
got a great deal of SPP out of it. Well, I suppose Gorgeous Gits got 8 on Smash 'em. That's quite nice. But yeah,
but
2-0 for the Orcs, and they're still top of the table. Let's have a look. Well, Ogres and Chaos Dwarves. Wow. This looks like a massacre.
yeah, I don't know quite how he did it. I know it's ogres, so they can be quite unreliable, but 3 touchdowns is quite a swing.
Well, if you look at the pickup rolls, we got 100% success. All 3 times the Chaos Dwarves picked it up, they succeeded. And then we've got a 25% success rate for the Ogres. So that's
Oh
probably a
wow,
key stat right there.
I think you're probably right on that.
Yep.
Um, didn't fail their bribe. Um, do you know if they made a lot of fouls in that game or?
I don't know. I'm not too sure, but we can perhaps
All right.
find out. Noob.
And the ogres failed both their catches as well. So yeah, doesn't
Yeah, it
look
looks
too
like they
good
were just
for them
unlucky,
on
but
that.
it was an absolute SPP fest for the Chaos Dwarves.
Oh wow! I've just opened. What's that? 19, 20. Is that 28 SPP in one
Yep,
game? That's a lot.
I'm glad I'm not in this division.
And
Yeah,
that's
both the
and that's a
MVPs were injured. Not really much else to say, really, there. Just an absolute massacre by the looks of it. Let's have a look at the next one. Rat and Goblin Pack versus Raining White Power, and the Underworld's denizens still can't really... Just can't look at that, 6% ball possession. It looks like they barely even had the ball.
yeah.
Just really, really unlucky. But unfortunately, that's what happens when you build a team out of Skaven and Goblins.
Yeah, they're not a big fan of each other, really.
Exactly, yeah, that animosity can
Definitely.
screw you.
I mean, he's past the only role for animosity, but yeah, it's a challenging team. Um, can very quickly get beaten into the ground. Um, and
Well,
actually, oh wow, have you seen the blocks that Denizens had?
basically, oh wow. Oh god.
That's a lot of push.
14 pushes. Yeah, but he looks like he barely had the chance to throw any blocks, really, at all. I think what's probably screwed him the most is the fact that he couldn't get his players back after the KO look. 8 failures to get your players back. And when you're really only having to roll, you should be getting 50% success rate there, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
So,
It just
unlucky.
looks obviously like there was a huge number of removals going on.
Yep.
Um, Interestingly, those undead failed 4 catches, but passed all 4 pickups. So,
Yep.
um,
Failed all his
what's it?
dodges as well. Looks like he
Yeah.
wasn't really doing much dodging though. Yeah, well, it's another solid win for the Undead. Let's have a look at the mirror match here. 2 identically clad human teams faced off against one another, and characteristically got a 1-all draw. But it looks like Burley Regal came out on top because they got a bit more SPP.
Interestingly, whilst they did have the same color set, the game does actually change the players' colors if you
Really?
match with exactly the same color scheme.
I did not know that.
So the armored armadillos were in a quite fitting brown color when I was watching. So
Well, not really much else we can say about this, is there? Unless you witnessed anything crazy.
no, it was quite a good game actually. I think if I remember rightly, Sam scored quite early onto his drive and gave the armadillos a chance to come back, but managed to kind of see it off and take that draw. So
Okay,
pretty good
well,
game, really.
well played, boys. Let's have a look at the teams. So, those armadillos. 1-2-2-0. AG down on a lineman. Does it matter on a lineman? Well, when you've got 13 players, you might as well get rid of him, right? That's just bloat.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the plan is with that guy. He's obviously got 5 SPP. Um, it's a tough call, but really, when you look at that team for 3 games into a season, you'd be very, very pleased to have that. I would say. You got your mighty blow on a blitzer. You've got your catcher with blow, and you've got guard on an ogre. So pretty good start in
Yeah,
my books.
yeah. There's just too many of them. Like, though, you don't need 13 players. Well, I don't know. I mean, he knows what he's doing, so I can assume I assume he knows what he's doing. He's got 2 throwers, which seems like bloat to me, but
I'm
maybe,
guessing he's bought one of those recently. Um,
possibly.
So maybe he can sack off the lineman now.
I'd be interested to know what his plans are here because it just feels like there's too many players. But maybe he's seen who he's got next and decided to do something about it. I'm not sure. Well, I guess we'll
Possibly.
find out.
And obviously got the Apo, so can keep defending those blitzers.
Yep.
It's quite impactful when you lose one of those human blitzers because they are
Well,
quite
they are
big
your
for your
team
team.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's have a look at Bailey Regal. See how they're getting on.
Now, the TV here is quite substantially different, and you can see very quickly why.
Yeah, he's got two linemen with block, which is standard. I mean, it's all right. This is. It's the thing about humans is that you can get away with that. The only thing that they're really missing is the fact that the linemen have no core skills. So
Yeah,
it doesn't matter that much that his blitzers aren't leveled up. It doesn't matter that much that he's not quite got his ogre there yet. His throw is fine as he is. He doesn't have a catcher, so
exactly. He
but he
doesn't
can't
have a
get one.
catcher, and he's short of one blitzer. So um, I think that's quite big in terms of a difference between the two.
Yeah,
Um, and he's got a golden money player, so
yeah.
can't rate that out.
Old money. Look at his face as well. He knows his name's yellow. Okay, well, let's move on. Underworld Denizens. Such an unlucky team here, but oh wow! So we've only got one level up, and it's on a blitzer who has guard.
Okay, it's not a bad shout,
Yeah.
really. You
Although
need that extra.
it shows the intent that he wants to play Bashi, and maybe that's where he's going wrong. I don't know, or maybe he's just been unlucky.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that, but I think it's a hard decision, really, because they've all got mutation success as well, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but maybe
He's just so close as well. We've got two guys on five. He's the Warpstone Troll's only got two SPP, which sucks because you expect that guy to be breaking armor with his mighty blow. Yeah, it looks like he's
definitely.
just not had the opportunity to get SPP here at all. But
I mean, when we look at the last game and see how many pieces have been removed, maybe they've been sat on the sidelines for most of the match.
possibly. Well, we'll see. But I would like to see him do well because he knows what he's doing. He played well last season, but was unlucky. And I think the
Yeah,
same thing's happening again this season.
he's got his
Ogres.
Apo as well.
So from what I understand, these guys have basically lost like an ogre a game or something so far. And wow, that is a depleted squad.
Yeah, I'm sure they started with at least four, if not five ogres from
Possibly.
previous weeks.
Yeah, I know he lost two in his first two games. But it looks like he's got them back. And to be honest, four ogres is enough. And oh no, he's only got three. Still not
I'm
bad.
struggling to understand Tuck. Is he greyed out for you as well? He's
Yeah,
seems to
he
be
is.
like an injured colour, but not injured. So
I don't know what's going on there. Actually, yeah, that is a bit odd. Is it just a glitch or something?
possibly.
I guess we'll.
I
I don't
mean,
know. Guess we'll find out. He's got his Apo though, which is good. So he won't hopefully lose any more ogres. Yeah, that's looking depleted. He's going to have a very difficult season.
oh,
If it,
definitely.
not that he hasn't already had one.
Well, I mean, when you're playing ogres, you're never looking forward to a straight
Exactly.
season. So
Let's have a look at these woodies. They've now got their war dancers back, which is nice. Catcher's got an AV down. That's a difficult call. That is. Yeah.
you
I
don't
mean,
want him getting hit, but you're going to have to send him on some pretty crazy run, as would else. So that could hurt quite a lot, I think.
I'd just fire him because his war dancers have got 8 movement, and half of the time you end up scoring with them anyway because they're the guys who blitz into cages and end up picking up the ball. He's got a strip ball on one of them. I'd just get rid of his catcher. But, having said that, they
I
are
think he spent.
expensive.
I think he spent quite a bit on replacing players recently as well. So
Yeah.
um,
Maybe
yeah,
doesn't
it's
want to get
not
rid of him for the next game because at least he's not a loner, I suppose.
exactly.
Yeah, not really much development to speak of here. One strip ball, one lineman with kick, which is good. That's what you want, but yeah, looking a bit bare bones here.
Especially when you've got an MNG on your 5 SPP player. You'd want him to be able to make the one pass in the game and get that next level. But he's got another with 5 SPP, so you would think he's going to come out of the next game with at least one level up.
Yeah. Well, let's hope he can get some Looney Toonies after their SPP fests.
This is
Surprisingly lacking in development, actually.
Well, it's quite clear where most of that SPP is going. 3 games, 19 SPP on your bull centaur.
Yeah,
That's absolute mad. I mean,
that's nice. Yeah,
that's
third level bull centaur blodger.
that's more SPP on that team than I think. Well, more SPP on that bull centaur than is on some of the other teams. In
Yeah,
fact, so
more SPP on that bull centaur than in the entirety of the wood elf squad.
pretty crazy, really.
Still not a great deal of guard, and that's really it's when they all get guard on all the Chaos Dwarf blockers that you absolutely hate playing against these guys. So
Yep.
for the time being, you can just knock that bull centaur down and foul him and hope for the best. But yeah, I mean, that team basically is the bull centaur. There's not really much else to talk about here, is there?
Well, he has replaced his other bull centaur that he lost in game one.
Yep.
So he's back to a kind of fairly reasonable roster. 2 hobgoblins a pass away from a level up. You think he's going to get quite a bit of development coming on very quickly,
Yeah,
especially with
just
all
needs
that.
to get a casualty on 2 of those dwarf blockers, and then you've got 3 guys with guard as well, which will be nasty. Well, let's take a look at
Terrifying.
these zombinos. Wow, he's got 14 players in his roster.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, and you can see that most of them are from other people's teams. One of them's called Peter Beardsley. Well, yeah, this is a nice team. This is really nice. So he's got a guard on a mummy. He's got a strength 4 ghoul, which if he can get a double on his next roll for that ghoul, then he can have a strength 4 ghoul with mighty blow, which
Yeah,
would be
that would be
absolutely
very
fantastic.
nice. You'd have to say at the minute, though, I expect you probably want to be blitzing with the whites.
Well, yeah, a lot of people think that when they look at this team, but maybe at first because they've got block, but the idea is that because they've got access to general, the idea is you get block on your ghouls as early as possible, and then you've got 7 movement blitzers.
Yeah,
And if you can
that
get
makes some
4 of
sense.
them and they're all blodgers, you've got basically guys that can run, can pass, can pick up the ball, can dodge, and pretty much do everything. And then your whites are just there to base opponents because they've got 8 armor. But
So are you expecting some guards on those whites then, Ben?
yeah, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, because you put
So,
the whites in there to guard, and then you blitz in with the ghouls. What he does need to do, in my opinion, is he needs to sell some of these zombies that are clogging up his team and making his TV so high, and then purchase a 4th ghoul.
I mean, 1290 is the highest TV in the whole
Yeah,
division.
there's no
So,
reason for this team to be that high. So sell some of those zombies and get another ghoul instead, because it's stupidly bloated. That is. But yeah, other
and
than that, this is looking like a fantastic team.
he's on 150k. So
Yeah,
maybe what's scaring him off at the minute is the bloat from buying that white. But yeah, from buying the ghoul. Sorry.
yeah.
Um,
If he
clear
keeps
that.
hold of it, if he keeps hold of that money, he could possibly get a stadium upgrade after this one, which would be nice.
What stadium upgrades would you go for on the
Well, at
undead?
200k, you can just build a stadium basically, and then after that, you can get whatever you want. But
Is it 200? I thought it was 200 for the upgrade to the stadium and 150 for the first level and 100 for the upgrade.
Yeah,
Is
so
that
it's
correct?
100. It's 150 to level up the stadium so that you can put upgrades on it, and
Cool.
then yeah, and
I
then
just don't know what I'd take personally.
maybe the thing that stops the weather from changing, because that's always
Oh
a
yeah,
pain in the arse that has the potentiality to screw you over. Well, anyway,
but
let's have a look at this last team. Gorgeous
it is
kids.
it is a horrible horrible effect to have playing in a blue screen game.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? Worth it though. Okay, so we've got a 4 agi blitzer, so that's his ball carrier from now on.
Yeah,
He probably doesn't need to bother getting another thrower really, because it'll just add bloat.
he's got a lot of doubles on this team. 2 Black Orcs with dodge.
Yep, that's huge because next level there'll be blodgers, which is massive. Yeah, this is you can see why he's top of the table. Great
two.
team.
Yeah, really lucky level ups. Really, that Agi and 2 doubles. You can't complain about that. Three out of 4 pretty amazing level ups.
I'm honoured to have a dodging Black Orc named after me. Let's take a look at the table. So, here we are. Right, now this one is a bit more polarising than the other one we looked at. So we've got the Orcs at the top with 5 touchdowns and 3 wins. Probably going to start pulling away, I imagine you'll see now. We've got, joining them is Reigning White Power, so the Undead and Burly Regal both on 7 points, and then the Armoured Armadillos on 5. So that's the cut-off point, but the Chaos Dwarf that we've just seen have got an absolute AIDS Bull Centaur, are just nipping at the heels of those humans there on 4 points. And then at the bottom we've got the Wood Elves on 1 and the Underworld and Ogres on 0, who are sinking quite fast. Again, still anyone's league, but if the Ogre and the Underworld and especially the Wood Elves, if they're going to make a play for the playoffs, they need to start getting results this week, really.
Oh, definitely. And you don't want to write them out, but it's not a big surprise that the Underworld and Ogres are kind of where they are in the table.
I'm surprised at the Underworld because he's a good player and his team, there's nothing wrong with his team, but I think he's just had bad luck. I mean, he's 1 for 5 on touchdowns and he's 2 for 11 on casualties, and that latter statistic is the one that's really screwing him.
But when you play a team of stunties and low-armoured Skaven, you can't necessarily expect to win that casualty game.
Yeah, you have to stand off people, and maybe that's what he's doing wrong, really. But I guess we'll find out. Let's have a look at this week, and looks like we've already got a result there, so no prediction for that one. And that answers our question about the Wood Elves at the bottom there. So we'll review that next week. But I think that's probably. Go on, what were you going to say?
I was going to say I can't even see that result yet. So
if you go back and forward again, you'll see it. So Burly Regal and Gorgeous Gits.
Oh no, it's still gone. So Burly Regal and Gorgeous Gits. You've
got to give that to the Orcs, really. I think
you're right there. To be honest,
if anything's going to screw him, it'll be the fact that none of his Black Orcs have got block.
Exactly. There's not a lot of block players on that team, so that might trouble him. Obviously, he's got the long-term game in mind, taking all that dodge on the Black Orcs. If you're only playing it for the one-shot season, you would want to make sure you get those core skills first. But taking double block and the strength up, you're definitely looking forward to the next season.
It's worth noting that the humans are going to get 230 in inducements. So they can take some stuff there, which might give the Orcs some trouble.
Oh, definitely. When you can pick up that wizard, I'm not sure that he's necessarily going to want to scum any money, so it might be just wizard and a babe. Those Orcs are slow, so if you hit that wizard at the right time, that could completely shut down his drive.
Yeah, or possibly get someone who can crack through the armor, maybe a chainsaw or something like that.
That's true, but obviously the challenge with taking one of those star players is if he gets smashed turn 1 and he's off the pitch, you're very short.
Yep, true enough. What do you think then? I'd say the Orcs will take it.
It's hard. I'd like to give this to Sam's plays, to be honest. For the most from the previous seasons and this one, it does seem to shine quite well on the new players to the league.
Yeah, true enough.
So I'm going to put it down as a 1-0 win to the humans, actually.
Okay, interesting. Well, I guess we'll see. This one, surely, at this point, you've got to assume that the humans are going to beat the Underworld.
Yeah. Looking at previous games, I mean, previous results, admittedly, there seems to be a big struggle with dice, but I can't write out the humans for this.
Yeah, there's just no development on that Underworld team. If the Underworld can stand off the humans, play the dodgy game, try and get cheeky touchdowns, and just play tentatively. He could possibly take it, but he needs to avoid combat at all costs, and he needs to force the humans to play an uncomfortable, bashy game that they don't want to play. I think.
That is
But yeah,
pretty on it.
I guess we'll see. But yeah, we both agree probably humans, right?
I think so.
Ogre and undead, right? That ogre team's got 10 players.
You should say the undead, and I probably will carry on to say the undead. However, that's a lot of inducements already. If he doesn't adapt his team and fire off some players, we're talking 280 TV. Well, 280 in inducements.
That's a lot. He could throw an extra 20 in there and get a Master Chef if he wanted to.
He could indeed. I don't know if you'd. I think I'd probably be keen to try and hold on to some of my money though. Wouldn't want to scum when I'm down to 3 ogres, so I'd be keen to try and get one back.
Yeah, maybe.
But even still, that's quite a lot. But if you're buying things that are just going to remove pieces, the undead have so many on there in the first place that you're just not going to remove enough of them. And mummies, I think, can have a pretty good bash fest with the ogres. So yeah, I've got to rate the undead here.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our final division for the week. To be or not to be. Hey, so lots of low scoring games here. Teddy versus the Lunatics. Well, anyone who's seen the video I posted on Facebook will know how ridiculous this game was. Just end-to-end, constant passing, everyone just failing at the last minute to get the touchdown, and it ended in a 1-1 draw. And I do feel a little bit peeved because, as you can see, Teddy had 6% ball possession.
Oh, wow.
But, that's Blood Bowl at the end of the day.
Spent most of the time on the floor. Oh, your MVP went to your loan. Did you keep him?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got an extra line woman, which I needed one anyway, so I might as well have got her. But yeah, not really much else to say about this, to be honest. It was a very silly game of Blood Bowl, and
I mean, stats wise, it looks reasonably balanced. So
I mean, you can see there that he got 1 armor break and I got 13, but I got hardly any SPP because I just couldn't remove him from the field. It was just stuns and nothing else. But again, that's the way it goes, right?
Oh, definitely.
So
sometimes
down and outs.
Get
Exactly, yeah. Down and outs, Wolves and their bones. You would have expected the Wolves to take this, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I watched quite a bit of this game. Once again, pretty balanced. I think there was. I don't know. There seemed to be quite a bit of suggestion from the opponent on how to play the turn. So I think he gave some suggestions on pretty much how to beat himself. But
all right, that's very very nice of him.
So, but obviously can't take anything away from him.
Yeah.
1-1 draw.
Looks like the Wolves had some good dice, to be fair. 100% go for it, 100% bribe, 100% catch, 100% pass. Not too bad, really. Just got shafted on the regen rolls, unfortunately.
And 12 to 11 on the SPP, so there's some reasonable development that came out of that game.
Yep, about equal on ball possession. Yep, just your standard 1-1 draw. Nice level up on the ghoul there, that's what you want. Mordor's Rejects and Vermin Vengers. I didn't see much of this, but I heard it, and I
saw a lot of this game. Finally, we've waited 2 seasons, Ben. It happened.
He's not drawn 1-1 for once.
It was very pleased to watch it. Very pleased that he's kind of got going, but he took 2 deaths.
Yeah, it was a costly victory.
Oh, definitely. Some questionable play choices, I would say. I think caused that 1-0 loss. for the chaos. We'll just have to see if they can pick it up in the further games, really.
You can see how frustrating that must have been for the chaos there, with 32 pushes to 12 POWs.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
No, that is.
And when you're playing as chaos, you need to knock people down, especially if they're Skaven, because that's the game where you. I bet you came into this game thinking, I'm going to get shed loads of SPP out of this. I'm going to absolutely beat the crap out of him for 16 turns, and I'm going to get loads of casualties. And it just looks like it didn't come off for him, which is a goddamn shame, really.
And that was. I mean, the SPP at the end of the game was pretty balanced, but unfortunately, that MVP went to the armor down beastman. So.
Oh god, yeah, just add insult to injury. Unlucky. Well, let's have a look at this last one then. Orchestra, Rusty Axe Wounds. The Norse have been very unlucky this season.
I did see some of this game. I didn't get to watch it in its full, but they did seem to be having a tough time with it.
Just look at that SPP there.
Yeah,
that's just a miserable game where you just get one MVP. That sucks.
But very happy if you're Orcs with that 17 total. So
this is just painful to look at. He failed 2 catches to 1, and let's have a look at those block dice.
The blocks weren't massively different, but
again, just a case of shed loads of pushes.
Yeah,
and that's not what you want.
I mean, when 2 sides push, you're expecting double, really. So.
Yeah, I suppose, but
it's I'd say in a block kind of manner, but 22 POWs is very good.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's have a look at the teams. So, Wolves on their bones. Oh dear!
Have a look.
What happened there? So he's missing a werewolf for his next game.
He is indeed,
which is not good.
It's not, but you can play with just the one.
Yeah. Problem is, he's got no real developed players now for his next game.
No, it's interesting to know what his plans are for that next 120k.
Yeah, I mean, if I was him, I'd fire that zombie who's got an AV down and replace him with a ghoul now.
You pick up the ghoul.
I'd definitely pick up the ghoul because, to be honest, it's been an interesting setup that he's got here. But those ghouls are fantastic blitzers.
Because I think his plan here is to actually pick up another white, in fact.
Yeah, and he probably will, but getting the whites is short-sighted. Playing it, the whites will be handy for this season. They'll be better. They'll be more useful than the ghouls this season. But if he keeps these guys into season 4, if he's got developed ghouls, by that point they will have surpassed the whites. So I can't overstate enough. Stacking your team with whites is short-sighted. Get some ghouls.
I mean, being in the position he's in at the minute, I think you're likely to want to take the team into next season.
Yeah.
So you could be bang on the money there.
I guess we'll see. Seems to know what he's doing, so let him crack on. But yeah, there's potential, but it's a bit underdeveloped, that team is right now, and I'm assuming that's because he's lost players.
You think?
Don't know.
I'd say that's a reasonable development on that team. You've got 2 werewolves that have got block. You've got 2 flesh golems that are 1 SPP away from getting.
That's the problem, though, isn't it? Those flesh golems need to get that level. Because if he had just 2 more SPP, 1 on each flesh golem, I'd be saying, wow, this is a quality looking team right now. But he needs to get, in his next game, if he can, he needs to be throwing as many blocks as he can with those flesh golems and hoping that he can grab that extra SPP and get those developed. Because all of a sudden then, for his next game, he's got 2 werewolves with block, he's got 2 developed flesh golems, he's got a white with guard, and then he's got a really, really nasty team to come up against.
That is true, but I, I'm not 100% sure on this, and I'm just having a very, very quick check. But it's okay. One of those flesh columns has got the MVP. The other one's got a touchdown. So I think in 3 games, having 5 SPP on both your flesh columns is I'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, no, well, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything away from him. It's just unfortunate that they've not quite ticked over.
And maybe we'll see if they can tick over in their next game.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe I'm having my judgment clouded by the fact that we've looked at the Division 1 teams. Kislev.
Heavily inflated.
So after his victory against me, he's almost got a full squad, and it's just the one lineman that he's got with Hail Mary pass.
I mean, if you look at this team and compare it to the last, you've only got one level up.
That's definitely true. Yeah, yeah. In comparison, the other one looks much better. Not really anything that we can say about this, is there? He's got an apothecary, I guess, is what we can say about it. Yeah, it's
short of that full roster.
Let's move swiftly on. The down and outs. Okay, so the newbie undead. Yep, this is. I mean, there you go. Those are 2 goals right there. That's the beginning of 2 excellent blitzers. And not only blitzers but ball carriers, because when you've got a 3 agi 7 movement guy who can only be knocked down on a POW, that's and having 2 of them on your team is fantastic, really.
Indeed. Guard on your mummy, pretty standard, really. I'd say pretty standard level ups across this team, really.
Yep. What he wants to do now is get rid of one of those zombies and buy another ghoul.
So you go for Can they have only 2 whites?
Yeah, only 2 whites, only 2 mummies, 4 ghouls, and as many zombies and skellies as you want. So I'd get rid of one of those zombies and replace him with a ghoul, and then start going at it. Start developing your ghouls, and if he keeps them into next season, there's no reason why by the end of the playoffs he can't have 4 7 movement, 3 agi, 3 strength blodgers on his team, which is massive. I mean, to put that into perspective, that's basically the equivalent of I'd say it's as strong as your 4 human blitzers, at least, if not more. Plus you've got like 8 armor whites. Plus you've got 2 big guy mummies. Like that, you can get a really strong team there. And if you've got 4 ghouls, one of them will sooner or later probably get either an agi up or a strength up as well.
You would have to hope so, really.
Yeah. Buy ghouls, people. It sounds like I'm being paid, doesn't it? By Ghouls Incorporated or something. Let's have a look at Mordor's rejects. Unfortunate game in the last one, but he's got block on a Chaos Warrior and he's got block on a Beastman. These guys are a pain in the arse to level up early.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's not had much luck.
No, it doesn't look like it at all. He's only got to make 1 pass that, unfortunately, his Beastman got knocked over near the end of the last game before he could make it. And 1 MNG, AV down. That's probably a sack, I would assume.
Yeah, he needs getting rid of. You can't be having a 7 AV guy on a Bashy team. That's just silly. Yeah, he needs to be gotten rid of. But he's got plenty of time, and he doesn't need to do it right now. But yeah, there's not really much you can say about this team because Chaos just don't have any core skills, do they?
No.
But the Chaos team that we looked at earlier on from Division 1 is what this could become if he can start getting those results and getting some casualties in. Let's have a look at our friends the Orcs.
Good old Orc roster in every division.
Yeah, God. I hate Orcs. I can't stand them. I think I'd rather play Dwarves, to be honest with you. But yeah, that's not taking anything away from our Orc playing friends. However, this team, he's been unlucky, hasn't he? There, he's got 4 guys on 5. The thing, what this team is it's about to pop. Like one really stonking game, and he can be having like 4 or 5 level ups in one go.
But if you compare this team to the Orc team in the other division, can see there's quite a substantial difference.
Yeah, the difference is huge, but he really has got so many guys that are just going to level after one game here. Like, almost everyone's got some SPP, and it's just a matter of time before he's got. Two of those Black Orcs just needs one SPP, and then he's got 2 Black Orcs with block. His thrower, who is going to be the guy who carries the ball, and is probably going to be the guy who scores the touchdown. He's going to level up probably in the next game, and his blitz is nearly there.
I think if you try and get him to make a pass quite early, or onto one of the blitzers, or vice versa, and get some of those points.
Yeah, definitely. Pass to one of those 5 SPP blitzers, and then run that blitzer in for the touchdown. That's 2 guys leveled up right there.
Or equally, pass from the blitzer to the thrower.
Well, I wouldn't do that because your thrower's got the pass skill. So I'd only do that if you're desperate. To be honest with you.
I mean, maybe you got time in your first turn of your drive. But
what are these wonderful Blood Bowl games you're having where you've got time to throw all these passes, Matt?
Well, I've been playing Dark Elves recently, so I have a lot of time and a lot of space that I can cover.
Fair enough.
I suppose when you're Orcs, you have to kind of start getting up that pitch quite quick.
Gonna get stuck in. Well, let's have a look at the Rusty Axe wounds. Unfortunately for these guys, 3 straight losses and 1 level up. We've got a lineman with kick. He's got his apothecary, and there's a couple of guys here who look like they're about ready to level up. Fortunately, he's got 11 players. That's the main thing. He's got 11 players. But he's only got... What have we got? We've got 2 Berserkers, a Runner, an Ulfwerner, 2 Ulfwerners. God, these guys are all spaced out. It's spinning me out to look at it. Yeah. And he's not in a good spot here, is he?
No. When you lose so many games, you lose your fan factor. Those kickoff events start not going your way.
Yeah.
It's tricky to come back, especially on a team with such low armor.
Exactly, yeah. But with all that block, there's always the chance that your opponent will get unlucky, or you'll get lucky, and you'll just have a stonking game, and all of a sudden you've got a bunch of level ups. So I wouldn't count him out, but yeah, he's going to have to really start being careful and not really playing like a bashy team. I think he's going to have to focus on getting wins. It's going to be difficult for him.
But that's hard, because what you want to be doing is making those frenzy players take the serfs, but that's not earning you any SPP and getting you no development. So I don't know if he's been. Haven't seen if he's been frenzy trapping himself much. It's a big danger when you've got 4 frenzy players on your team.
Yeah, definitely.
And if he has, that could be a bit of an explanation on some of those results, really.
Yeah, quite possibly. Let's have a look at the Skaven, fresh from their victory. A 9-player roster we've got for our next game. And we've got a gutter runner with... Is that Fend? No, it's Wrestle.
Wrestle.
Got a runner with Wrestle, and we've got a lineman with Kick. So it's pretty standard stuff. That Kick's nice because then he can kick behind his opponents and hope that they screw up the pickup, and then run around for the cheeky touchdown. The Rat Ogre putting in some work, although he's still not got any SPP on that Rat Ogre, which is probably annoying him.
Yeah, I mean, in the last match, the Rat Ogre spent pretty much a whole half knocking down a Chaos Warrior for them to just get back up, and the 2 of them were having their own separate game entirely. So
yeah, that's annoying when that happens, because you don't want your big guy to get tied up by one opponent for an entire half.
Especially not something with such high armor. I mean, if he was stuck on a lower armor beastman, you'd have probably been a bit happier. But obviously couldn't break the armor or couldn't remove him off the pitch, so they just took their little dance. I mean, it got to the point where he pushed him from one side of the pitch almost to the other and surfed him. If there had been a couple more turns in that half, so.
Right, well, let's have a look at. Oh, it's me. Okay, well, let's have a look at me.
Let's have a look at your team, shall we? Ben?
Yeah.
Shall I pass some judgment?
Go on then. Go for it.
You got strength on Rhoda Camwell. That's obviously quite a big one for you.
Yep.
And then guard on your line woman. You bought the other line woman who got your MVP, but you're still obviously one player short on the full roster.
Yeah, I'm not very developed, unfortunately, because I had 3 deaths in my game before last.
Were they on players that had already built up quite a lot of SPP?
Yeah, one of them was a blitzer, and then there was 2 line women that I lost. And yeah, I'm pretty sure 2 of them had already built up SPP. But to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter. Well, I don't think it matters a great deal with these guys because they start with core skills.
Is the catcher? Has the catcher not? I take it the catcher hasn't scored, and that's still the same
catcher
one from
has done absolutely bugger all. I wish I hadn't bought her, to be honest. I'd rather have just had another line woman, really.
I mean, 20k for catch skill. Have you thrown many passes to her, or?
Well, yeah, I've tried to throw quite a lot of passes. The problem is she gets targeted because she's a catcher, so she's often the first to get taken out. So, yeah, well, if she dies, I won't be crying, put it that way.
And I hadn't realised that those Amazons have identical stats across all their players.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a 6-3-3-7.
Yeah. Well, not really much to say about this, is there? Let's take
You've
a look
got your Appo.
I've got my Appo, yeah, well. I started with an Appo. I'm a big fan of Appos. Okay.
I can't say I've noticed.
Now, this league table is an interesting one. It's very close for most of it. So we've got the Wolves and the Orcs at the top on 7 points, and they're only separated by touchdown difference.
Yep.
Because it's a +4 for the Necros and a +2 for the Orcs. Then we've got on 5 points each the Undead and me. I'm not quite sure how I'm 4th. I have no idea how I've managed that. And then the Skaven on 4, the Chaos on 3, Kislev on 1, and Norster with no points. But anyone could really get into the top 4 in this league, really.
I mean, looking at the kind of points in that, you seem to be having some of the very similarities to my division in last season. There's already been quite a lot of draws going on.
Yeah.
So inherently, a lot of points have been kind of forfeit from both teams only kind of getting 1 point. So very easy for, I mean, even the 6th place team of the Chaos to get right up near that top spot.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're only 4 points away. I mean, to be honest, anyone could still quite easily. I mean, even the Norse, if they can start winning games, there's no reason why they can't get in the top 4. Whether or not they will remains to be seen. But and no one in this league is like we don't see the level of development in this division that we do with, say, the Orcs in 2A. So the difference between the guys that are developed and the guys that aren't is only a couple of players, pretty much across the board right now. So there's no reason why anyone can't rise up in this, I don't think.
I think the only thing on that with the Norse is they do have some very difficult opponents coming up. And if we switch over to see the schedule for next week.
Schedule. So, Lunachicks and Vermin Vengers.
What do you think, Ben?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm going to back myself, aren't I?
I mean, he's fresh off a win. Yeah, that's got to be quite the motivator.
Well, let me remind myself of what he's got. No, not these guys. I'm clicking on the wrong ones. Yeah, well, those gutter runners are going to be food. Really, the only thing I'm afraid of on that team is his Rat Ogre. I'd prefer him to not have one. My Amazons are exactly the kind of team that the Skaven will be happy to have a Rat Ogre against. because we've got the same armor as them. In fact, he's got better armor than me. So, in general. So, but then he's going to have what? He's going to have 2 loners that add a value of 100k. So that's going to put him up to 1140. And I'm going to have 1 loner at a value of 50k, putting me up to 1110. So there's not really going to be any inducements either side. Yeah, I think I can take him.
Do you think have you got enough to scum a babe, maybe? Is that something you'd do?
Yeah, but I don't know if I'll even bother, to be honest with you.
But obviously he does have quite the movement advantage.
Yeah,
so
yeah, he does.
Those gut runners can just run away.
I'm just going to base him for the entire game because I've got dodge on everyone. I'm just going to put all my guys next to him and force him to either dodge or punch.
Yeah, and I think he'll struggle with that, having so many loners.
Yep, definitely. Take that, Josh. So I predict me.
What? Do you have a score prediction?
7-0.
7-0. Okay. I can't really go against previous results. So, whilst he got a win last week, I'm going for a 1-1 draw. There's no way that I could go for anything else, really.
Yeah, not a 7-7 draw.
7-7 draw. Maybe we can get to. Be nice to see if he could get to 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Maybe a 2-2 draw. Let's go for that.
Okay. All right. Well, rusty axe wounds, wolves in their bones. They're going to struggle, aren't they?
This is really what I was talking about. Yeah, got to play top of the table. You'd be very, very happy that one of the werewolves is MNG for this.
Yep.
But obviously the claw's not really going to have much of an effect. So
exactly, yeah. I think really
it is
Pete just needs to stay away from the sidelines, and he's not got any problems really. If the Norse can get some guys pushed off the field and deplete his numbers, then they can start walking all over him. But the flesh golems are going to be a problem. But then he's got the Ulferners, and they're there to deal with flesh golems, and the flesh golems are only 1 strength more than them, so it's almost certain that they'll pass their juggernaut roll. So
yeah. I mean, you should be fine, Rick. Wait, juggernaut?
Not juggernaut.
There's only the one runner that has the dauntless.
Yeah, dauntless. Yeah, God, how did I not have you? I started off playing dwarves. I should have known that. But still, he's got someone to deal with them. So
yeah, it is a lot of block players. You can't write that out. But I don't know. I think he's going to struggle here.
I think he might do all right against these guys. He's got the movement advantage on them. I'm going to go for a draw. Actually, I think this will be a draw.
1-1, or
yeah,
going with the theme of this division. Lots of draws. I don't know. I think Pete's going to get a little bit lucky on these armor breaks. You're going to see a few removals of the Norse, and it's going to result in a 2-1.
I would agree with you if Pete had some ghouls, but the ghoulless team can't possibly win. So I'm going to go with 1-1.
Okay.
So Orchestra and Teddy. Well, I mean, I've now experienced firsthand why you can't just discount Kislev, but you would expect the Orcs to take this one, right? I
mean, once again, another tricky game for those nearing the bottom that have to kind of start getting some wins. Playing that Orc team, whilst they don't have a lot of development, it's always a challenge, really. You're not a very strong team as the Kislev. You can do some crazy stuff, but I think he's going to struggle here.
Yeah. I mean, the cage breaking ability is there, but he's just not going to. His low armor is going to hurt him, I think, really. So you'd expect. I think the Orcs will probably take this comfortable, about 2-0.
Yeah, I can see a 2-0 win coming in here. They're just going to want to base everything. You've got no dodge, no block on the lineman to try and deal with it. I think 2-0 is quite achievable, really.
So our last one of the week: Mordor's Rejects and the Down and Outs. Fritsch is the more experienced coach, but I think that the Undead have got the better team.
I think I'd have to agree with that.
3 goals is huge. The Chaos can't keep up with him. That's for certain. He's got better movement than them, and he's got more developed players. I think that this is the Undead's to lose, and I expect this is a tough one because he's not exactly going to be able to fight Chaos, is he? He's not going to win the bash, and Undead are supposed to be a bashy team.
I think it's his to lose, but I'm pretty confident that he's going to have this one. You know.
Yeah.
Those mummies, whilst slow, if they can get on a few players, that could be some very, very quick removals.
Mm.
And I thought you were the big fan of the ghouls, Ben. So
I am a big fan of the ghouls, and I think that Undead will win, and I predict that they will probably win 2-1 or something like that. But having said that, if the Chaos can get rid of those ghouls, then he's completely neutered, and he's got no one who can really carry the ball apart from his whites. So if he can do that, if he can get rid of them nice and early, then he might be able to take it. But I'm going to have to go with the Undead.
I think I'm definitely going with the Undead. I think maybe 2-0 as opposed to the 2-1.
Yeah. Okay.
I can see a drive disruption on that. So.
Well, that has been this week's Smash of the Day. Thanks very much for joining me, Matt.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
And yeah, good luck with everyone's games for the week. Goodbye.